Now, if you have an online presence, you're surely welcome to stay, but it's for Elaine because she doesn't have an online presence. And then who else doesn't? It's for Claire. It's for such people as that. It's for Jerry. Jerry has a product, but he hasn't created an online presence where he can actually go sell that product yet. So this is for that kind of person. If you think you know things, if you think you know everything, this is not for you. Go home. Now, it's not because I'm afraid that you might know something that I don't, because I welcome the opportunity to learn. This is for the very, very beginner person. All right, so if he starts spouting smart, I'm going to say leave or be quiet or something, because I don't want anybody to be intimidated. This is for people who don't know anything. All right, you've heard the expression, there are no such things as stupid questions. That's not true. There are some stupid questions. There really are. I've been a university professor all my life, and there are some really stupid questions. I mean, oh my goodness, but tonight there are no stupid questions unless I chuckle too loud or so. But it's for people who don't know anything. Fair enough? I want to be able to answer those questions. So we'll talk about establishing an online presence, which equals create a website, which equals create a blog. As for me, a blog equals a website equals a blog equals an online presence. I use all these terms interchangeably. So the things I'm going to cover tonight, I'm going to talk about why I get to do this. Why would you take time out of your evening to come here from me? You know, we were talking about how sleazy SEO people can be. And that's a fair criticism a lot of the time. Maybe not all the time, maybe most of the time, I'm not sure. But I will try to establish for you my credibility. I will talk about the 4 problems that a blog can solve. There are 4 things that all readers, all writers, all business owners, all websites want that I think, and I think that a blog will solve all of those problems. And then there are the 4 biggest obstacles that people must overcome just to get going. So in other words, I'm going to try and read Claire and Elaine and Jerry's mind and say, well, I think I know why you haven't started yet. And then what you should do to overcome those obstacles, I think. And then we'll talk about the next steps to go beyond that. So that's what I want to cover. Fair enough? Okay, well, at least Elaine's going to listen. I don't think anybody else is going to. Yeah, this is what we're going to cover. Here we go. So what writers? So the reason I say writers, I don't know what meetup you came from, but I had about 24, 25 people sign up for the meetup tonight. Well, obviously there are not 24 or 5 people here. So when I go home, I'm going to tell Lisa, who's my assistant, she's going to send out an email to everybody who signed up to show up and say, no shows are uncool. If you get to that email, it's not for you. All right, I just can't remember who everybody is, so we can't, you know, because people sign up and then they don't show up. And there are about 12 different meetup groups who have signed up to come. So if you look at your meetup group and there's only 2 people signed up, don't worry about it. There's always more meetup groups coming. But then again, they say they're coming and they don't show up. I don't know what's up with that. But there are writers. I got a bunch of writers. I got bloggers. There are digital marketers. There are small business owners. There are startups. There are SEO experts. There's a web consortium. There's all sorts of different things that I have these different meetup groups. And there's about 3,800 members all total. And the one thing they all have in common is just about everybody who signs up for Meetup has an online presence, or they want an online presence. So they either have one or they want one. If they're a startup, they want to create some visibility, so they need an online presence. And if they're a writer, they probably have written a book and they hope they can sell that book, or they hope they can get readers for that book. If they're a blogger, they hope they can make gas money or better with their blog. The one thing that all these meetup groups have in common is they have an online presence or want an online presence, and they want more people to come to their websites. And that's what I know how to do. I know how to legitimately get real people to come to your website to read what it is that you've written about. That's what I teach to all the different groups. Say hello to Samantha, everybody. Hey, Samantha. That's my wife. So I don't know what she's doing at home. I hope she's talking. So what people want, the writers want to get read, right? Everybody wants to get read. If you're business owners, you want leads. Now, I can say this because I'm from Japan. It's the same in Japanese. Read and lead. They can't hear the difference, right? Lead, read. I can say I spent 20 years in Japan. My ex-wife's Japanese. My kids are both Japanese and American. But it's the same. They either want to be read or they want to get led. We want more real people that are real people, not just fake people. You've heard the expression drive traffic. Can you drive traffic to my website? I can do that. If you give me your website, I'll send a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand, maybe a couple 10,000 people. I can drive people to your website. Just I can say, go there. You know, if 300,000 people come to my website and I get a 1% click-through rate, what's that? That's right, 30,000. I can send 30,000 people to go look at this. But that's not what you want. You want people who are looking for you to come. You want people who are searching you out, people who are relevant. We don't want to push people around. We want people to come for what it is that they're looking for. That's what a real lead is. And then we want real readers. We want people to read about what it is we wrote about. Okay. And then the other thing, we want to get published. If you're a writer, you want to get published. If you're a business owner, you want mojo. You want some moxie. You want to be able to show people, look, I have an online presence and I have respect here. And you can prove that you have respect because you got this many readers who have showed up. You got this many unique visitors. They all came from these search engines and from these different sources. And then the other thing was we want speaking gigs, right? You want to be able to, well, how'd you write that book? Or what's your inspiration? And if you're a business owner, you want to be able to make the presentation. You want to be able to say, hey, this is what my product's all about. Let me talk to you about this. And then the other thing you want to get paid. You want to make some money at this. And then for the business owner, well, it's the same. Everybody, you want to make some money at this. But that's not always true. You know, there are some writers, bloggers, I guess, who would blog whether they made any money or not. There are such people. I am not that person. You know, I would like to make some money at this. So you're either writing because you want to get read or you don't care whether you get read or not. I'm the person who wants to be read. And then if I'm going to be read, there are the people who want to get read, and then there are people who want to get paid because people are reading what they provided. I'm that kind of person. I want to make money doing what I want to do. I was telling Claire that we'll be here till, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock or whatever. During the time that we are here, my websites will make enough money to take me and my wife and daughter to the movies. And it'll take us out to eat afterwards. So we can, my wife and daughter and I can sit and watch Merida, on, you know, Disney on Ice or whatever, and we will make more money watching that than it costs for us to be there watching it. And it just does that 24/7. Now, granted, there are ups and downs, but over the course of the year, it averages out to about that much. And I think that's cool. I think that's cool. So a blog will satisfy all of these itches. Biggest problem with blogs are what? Its name. It sounds like blah, 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 blah. It sounds like I don't have a job, I don't have a love life, I need a dating coach. It sounds like, you know, I lost my wife, my house floated up into the sky, and then the dog died, and, you know, and I don't want Obama to be hired, I don't want Romney to get, I don't, whatever. You know, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a business blog. I'm talking about a blog that meets a need. I'm talking about blogs that serve a purpose. I'm talking about a blog that people will search up because they care about what it says. If you do a business blog, if you do it right, you can satisfy all of these itches. Fair enough. So I get read. All right, I get read. So I have a lifetime of articles. I was telling somebody, we have about 30,000 articles. 30,000 articles at my network of sites. If you go to billbelew.com, there's a list of the sites that I own or that I maintain content for. And we have about 30,000 articles. I wrote, personally, the first 12,000 of those. I mean, it came out of my head onto my fingers into the keyboard. I hit, you know, I estimated that I punched my IBM ThinkPad some 20 million times. Because I know almost to the word how many words I wrote. And you take that many words, multiply that by 7 plus 1 space, right? You know, the average length of word per character, blah, blah, blah. The I key stopped working, right? So I wrote those first 12,000. You know how many times you use I when you actually write? You know. And so after that, I started hiring people to write for me. And then I just edited. And then I got tired of doing that, so I hired an editor and had him do that, and I just check on my editor from time to time. And now we're up to about 30,000 articles. So if you were to start reading from the day you learn how to read one article a day, you would not be able to read all the articles that we have written at my websites. So I have people who say, I got 30 pages on my website. How come nobody reads it? It's because I have 30,000 and I buried them. It's just plain and simple. You know, depending on the niche, on the content and all that sort of thing. So nothing will beat quantity. The more you have, the more opportunities you have to be read. That's a different topic. We get, and I pulled this number out of last week to make it as current as I possibly could. We get read at 2.56 pages per second. Every second, 2.5 pages. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it does that 24/7. Did it for an entire week. We had like 1,499,000 visitors in 1 week. All right, so it's 214,000 a day. How many seconds are there in a day? That's right, 86,400 or something like that. That was my first goal. That was my goal. I don't know how long ago it was. To be able to get, you know, a page view a second. That would be cool. Do a page view a second for the entire day. Well, we've averaged 97,000 page views per day for the entire year this year. So we're doing better than a page view a second for the entire year. That's like way fun for me. Anyway, last week was really good. So I have 10 different unrelated topics. Each of them have more than 1 million unique visitors. So if you did it once, you could say, oh, that guy just got lucky. If you did it twice, you'd have to say, oh, they got pretty lucky. They're really lucky. You do it 3 times, you have to be really, really lucky. For 4 times, you're going to be really, really, really lucky. If you can do it 10 times, you have to be really, 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 really lucky. Or you have to know what you're doing. And I've been able to reproduce this 10 different times. Yes, ma'am.
So
already?
I'm on your website right now, and
So I write about being a Christian. I'm a Christian, totally unashamed of the fact. I write about the business of education, got a PhD in education. Lived in Asia for almost 20 years, spent most of my time in Japan. My wife is made in China. I live here in California, so you got to save the environment. Write about India. I had a huge Indian following. One of my most favorite numbers is 100 million. I wrote about that today. 100 million is one of my favorite numbers because there are 100 million Indians online. And what that means is there's 1.2 billion Indians who are not online yet. And they're coming. They just keep coming. And just because more Indians are coming online, my sites will keep growing because I own so many topics there. And so that's what they call what? That's called organic growth. I do squat. I do nothing but wait for more people to come online and watch the site grow. Because I've done it for so many times that people naturally come follow what I was popular about last year. Write about international news, write about blogging, write about cricket. All of these topics have more than 1 million unique visitors. Now, do you all know what the difference between unique visitor and page view is? A unique visitor is when somebody clicks on your site and shows, oh, here I am. And then they start turning the pages, which means they click through the different pages. The page views are going to be bigger than the number of visitors you have. In other words, if somebody lands on your website and they don't turn the pages, you get a crappy site. Because they landed, they saw something, they left, they just kept leaving. There's a number, I'll show this to you later, where you want that ratio to be as high as possible. The more page views per visitors you have, the better site you have. Well, duh. You know, I've never met a writer. Claire, do you like feedback? Yeah, everybody says, I love feedback. I bet that's not true. What you really want is good feedback. Well, no, yeah, people want people to say nice things to them. You put your blog out there, you start writing, you start getting real traffic, you start getting real feedback. If the ratio's bad, you're bad. If the comments are bad, well, we don't care about the comments. You know, you start getting the real feedback that you want. And we have more total views than the population of 95% of the world's countries. There's only 11 countries in the world that have more people that have come to my website. We just passed up the Philippines. Philippines has 92 million people. We got 95 million people this last week. That's what we call that, what? Search engine traffic. We call that people searching it out and finding me. Okay, there's a good question. So how are the ways that people can find you? Generally, I think there are 4 ways that people can find you. One is that they put something up in the search engine box. And they put something in there, and they land on you. That's called search engine traffic. Another kind is referral traffic. That's where you get on Facebook and you say, go see this. Or you get into Dig or to some social network and say, go over there and see this. Or you say, Bill, send people to my site, and I write something about Elaine, and I refer them to you. That's called referral traffic. The third kind is called direct traffic. Direct traffic is when you open it up and you go directly to CNN.com or to FoxNews.com. Nobody searched it. Nobody told you to go there. You just opened it up and you went there. And the fourth kind of traffic is paid traffic. That's where you give Google a whole lot of money in hopes that maybe they'll send somebody to you through an ad where you buy the AdWords, they place that on different sites, and maybe and so that's them. You got referral traffic, you got search engine traffic, you got direct traffic, and you got paid traffic. Well, you got questions already. I haven't even said anything yet. Yes?
How do you buy words from Google?
Don't you dare buy words.
I'm not going to buy words.
Then why would you need to know how to do it?
Other people buying words.
Because they're too lazy to do it themselves.
What happens if 2 people?
No. We're not going there. All right. If 2 people, whoever pays the most money gets the best visibility.
And you're not into that?
What?
And you're not like into that?
No way. You know, I've had 95 million people come to my website, and I have never. Listen to this, Claire. Pay attention. I'm in charge here. Listen to this, Claire. There are 95 million page views on my website, and I have never, ever bought traffic. I never, ever paid anybody to come there. When I learned that people could buy traffic, it made me mad. I'm serious, it made me angry. What do you mean you buy? That's cheating. No way. You buy AdWords, you put this on over there, and people click on your AdWords. You paid somebody to come there. You know how hard it is to pay somebody to click on something so that they'll come and click on something? You just wasted all that money. It's hard enough to get them to click once, much less get them to click twice. Click-through rates are less than 1%. Look, here's my advertisement. Oh, there's an advertisement. Oh, I think I'll click on that. One out of 813 people will click on that. Now you want them to click on something and buy something. Well, good luck. It doesn't work. What you want is for somebody to search it out. They search it out, they find it, and then they show up. Oh, this is what I'm looking for. And then they'll click on what you have to offer them. That's the best way. Nothing, absolutely nothing beats search engine traffic, unless it's direct traffic. And the only way you're going to get people to come to you directly is for them to have found you the first time. Or what? Or what? Meet them in the same room. That's right, meet them in person. That's the only way, that's the best way is to do it. So, that sure got me off track there. All right. But here's what I think. I like to add this up there. This is something that is totally within the control of everybody sitting in this room. You see, I don't have to have enough money to buy AdWords to outbuy somebody else who's bought the same space under the same word. I don't have to go there. You know, I don't have to sit around and ask Jerry, would you please send people to me? I don't have to do that. He wouldn't send anybody, anybody reading his website any. And I don't have to sit around waiting for somebody to have an inspiration. Gee, I wish that would have popped up into their mind and they would show up at BillBlue.com. How many people in their life have ever dreamed of Pan-Asian Biz? That's the dumbest name I've ever heard of. But nobody's ever used it. But people still come there. So sitting around waiting for people to come to me directly, that just isn't going to work. If I write, people will come. You know, if I write it, they will come. Now, it's not just, you can't just throw junk out there. There's a technique to it, and we're not going to get that far. Okay, here, I'll ask this question. What is search engine optimization? You got an SEO expert, got SEO experts. What is search engine optimization? Search engine optimization, I will define it. Here's how I define it. Search engine optimization is creating content that has appeal to real people and to search engines. Now, we have all clicked on things that had, oh, what in the world is this? You know, it was very search engine friendly, it was very search engine findable, but as soon as I got it, oh my goodness, what is it? I don't want to go there, and I leave. I hit the backspace. That's called a bounce. That's content that leans too far toward the search engine side. And then there's stuff that's really, really good, but nobody can find it. And I've never found it either, because why? The search engine cannot find it. It sits over here on the reader side. People sit around writing for real readers. Search engines will never find them. People who write only for search engines, they get found, but people bounce off of them. When you have something that is really good, that people really like to read, and search engines can find, you have that ideal balance. What's another word for ideal balance? Optimized, that's right. When you've got the content balanced so that real readers want to read it and search engines can find it, that's what SEO is. It's nothing about algorithms, it's nothing about plugins. I mean, there's stuff you can do back there, but nothing will beat writing really good content that real people like to read and search engines can find. You know, I was in a group earlier not this week, I guess it was last week, today's only Monday. There's a whole bunch of people sitting around talking about, how can I create this website? How can I create this content so that a search engine can find me? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what's wrong with you people? Because, you know, at the very same time, there are people over in Google sitting around thinking, how can we create an algorithm so that we can find what real people want to read? You see, they're just completely missing. These guys are trying to write for some machine, and the machine's trying to figure out what real people want. So the very best thing to do is just write as naturally as you possibly can with a mindset that a machine might be looking for this. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves. But what I want to say is you can control this. You can do this. It's in your hands. So I get published. Yay. This is my younger son, Micah. He actually physically sat on this commode for 6 hours while his older brother painted him. And you talk about ring around the collar, ring around something else. But anyway, it's called, Gee, I Wish I'd Been Drinking at the Time. The name of the book is Gee, I Wish I Had Been Drinking at the Time. And it's 101 reasons why you never hear that. Over the course of a year, I read a whole bunch of anecdotes online of the amazingly stupid things that people do when they get drunk. It's incredible how stupid people can be when they get drunk, right? It starts off funny. Oh, that was really silly of you. And then you think, oh my goodness, that was funny, but I bet that hurt. And then I think, oh, you better watch out, you're going to hurt somebody else. Okay, would you please stop that before somebody really gets seriously killed? Okay, knock it off already. You're going to, it just kind of goes in levels like that. There was one story. The 26-year-old girl got mad at her boyfriend, picked up their 4-month-old baby by the feet. You can see where this is going. Swung the baby by the feet at her boyfriend and cracked the baby's head. Made me so stinking mad I wrote the book. Now I had about 900 stories here, and I knew which ones were popular and which ones weren't. I knew which ones get read and which ones didn't. And so I put them in order, of the most read to the least read, right? And the stupidest down to the funniest, this kind of thing. And so, if you write, you can write. If you blog, you do the book thing. This is my little girl. She's published. She's on Kindle publishing. Yep. And the name of the book, Buy Cows Who Chew Lilies. You say, go buy the book. It's only $2.99. So buy cows who chew lilies. You say that real fast. It sounds like buy cows who chew lilies, bicultural lilies. She hears her mother and father talking about her growing up biculturally. And she thinks we want her to grow up by cows who chew lilies. And so she wrote the book, and my other son, who painted him, is also an animator. He was an animator for a Japanese company. All right, and so he illustrated the book for us. And then I have a huge cricket following. You like cricket? Well, yeah, you're Indian? Yeah, that's right. So I have a huge cricket following. So readers write books and hope they can find readers. Well, I've got readers out the wazoo waiting for me to write a book. Well, isn't that cool, right? See, already?
E-books or?
No, I've done the e-book thing.
Okay.
And so I don't have time. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to write a book. I got to write a book. Let me get there. Just stop asking questions. That's okay. So then I wrote this in like a year when I first got to 20 million, how to get 20 million people. And so I wrote it all out. Go to Amazon, it's there. But you can do the publish thing. You can do that. You write the blog, people read it. You know whether you're any good or not. You take what's good and put it in book form, and there it goes. See, books don't make money. Books are calling cards, right? You got to sell a whole lot of books. But that being said, no, I'm not answering any more questions from you. So here is this company. It's called Kindle Hunt Publishing. So I'm sitting at Panera. I work at Panera. I don't work at Panera. I work out of Panera, okay? It's a little bit different. It's got free Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi is free, and I got free refills on iced tea. So I'm just sitting there minding my own business, writing blogs like you do. And there's this short, bald-headed guy, Frank. His name is Dr. Frank, Forcier. And he and I see each other every day, and we talk like we do. And then Satoko comes in. Satoko, I don't want to make this story too long. Satoko had, it's a Japanese school. She and I started a Japanese school to teach English to Japanese. And so some big company hired her and said, please send teachers over there. She sent a teacher over there. The guy wasn't any good. And so she got really scared because it was a big contract, a lot of money. So Satoko comes and said, Bill, would you go teach the class for me? Because I used to do that sort of thing. Yeah, I can do it. So we're sitting there in Panera talking about me teaching a Japanese class. And I said, should I use my textbook that I wrote when I was in Japan, or should I create something new? And Frank jumps up. What? And what? You've got a textbook? You wrote a textbook about Japan and about English, as teaching English as a second language? Kindle Hunt Publishing is the largest digital textbook publisher in the nation. They publish for the UC school system, they publish for University of Phoenix school system, blah, blah, blah. He says, why don't you let me take your business book on Japanese, teaching Japanese as a second language, and we'll publish that for you. And you've got how many people who follow you in Japan, in Asia? You see, I've got this following in Asia, I got this book that I've already written, now they want to publish it. That being said, there's a ITU, this is itu.edu, look it up. There's an International Technological University downtown San Jose said, Bill, why don't you teach a class in our global MBA program? You just got your MBA business degree? They want me to teach a class in global MBA on marketing with social media. Of which what? Who's the king of social media? Blogs. There's nothing you can do in a Facebook, on Twitter, LinkedIn. Can't do nothing on those that you can't do on a blog. Blogs are king. So, and what they asked me to do, they said, can you write a textbook for us? You saved that question, but you see what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book for this global MBA program. Kindle Hunt's going to publish it, and they're going to start marketing for me like a mad dog. I have a friend who knows Simon of Simon & Schuster. He knows Simon of Simon & Schuster, and Simon says, honestly, Simon says, why in the world would anybody ever use a traditional publisher? He said, why would you do that? He said, you can write your own book, do your own marketing thing, get your own readership, get your own following, and start selling your books to those people. He said, why would you give it to us and let us pay you 7% or 8% or whatever menial sum we're going to give to you? Well, you see, he said, why would people do it? People still send them, manuscripts, and I'm going to do it too, because the reason I'm doing it, because I don't have to do anything. Just kind of sit. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, and then I got the Pro Blogger test. I just published an ebook. You asked about ebook. If you go on there, can you pass this Pro Blogger test? It's an ebook. It's $2.99. And you take a test. You read the book, take a test, and it'll tell you whether you're a pro blogger material or not. Fail the test, don't even blog, because you just clutter it up. And I don't want you cluttering up the blogosphere. Okay, so feedback. We want feedback. There's a picture of Rising Sun. We got like 3 million. It's way over that, like 4 or 5 million, I forget. But there, you got visitors. How many visitors came? 800 people came. And how many page views? How many times did they turn the page? So we look at here. We get 1.6. Oh, so I get like, 60% of the people who come to my website turn the page somewhere. See, that's feedback. I can use that. And then I got how long it took them to read it. Well, if it takes me 10 seconds, if it's a 10-second, 20-second post, I can read this fast and only there for 30 seconds. I better increase the quality so I can keep people on time on my website more often. This is called Site Meter, S-I-T-E-M-E-T-E-R. It's free. Stick it on your blog. You'll get real feedback. New York City, I get asked, New York City, Indianapolis, UK. If it starts with San, I've probably been there. Jose, Miguel, this is in Miguel de Allende. It's in Mexico somewhere. San Diego, Bangkok. I was in Bangkok last year. Going back this year, it's a bunch of Asian publishers trying to make the transition from paper to online. All right? And so they say, wow, if we gave all our material away for free and put it online, we couldn't make any money doing that. I'm serious. There were like 30 suits sitting in a room, just about this size. And they'll sit around there. They'll say, oh, we're not going to give our stuff away for free. We're not going to put our stuff up for free. There's no way we can make money by giving our stuff away for free. And I'm standing in my shorts because that's what I do. And I couldn't take it anymore. So what are you guys, nuts? That argument's been settled back in the day of the radio. Remember the radio? Why would anybody broadcast out to nobody in particular? How could we make any money doing that? Did the radio fail? Of course it didn't. It was just free material. So if you've got good stuff, you publish it, people will read it. If you know how to get read, if you know how to get found, if you know your good search engine optimization principles, this is how you put it up there, and this is how you make money at it. So I'm going back there in about 3 weeks. It's in Kuala Lumpur. Never been there before. I hope I can find myself. And they're going to go to Singapore. You know what's in Singapore? Anybody ever been to Singapore? Yeah, it's like 80 miles from the equator. Yeah, I'm totally going to get on a boat and go to the equator, and I'm going to try and swim under and just see if I can do that. Denver. Been up to Denver. California Writers Club, Los Angeles, romance writers. Just spoke to a bunch of, me, romance writers. Something's wrong with that picture. And American Christian fiction writers. But where I'm headed at here, you do the blog, you do it right, it comes to you. It's none of this hat in hand. What can you do for me? You do your work, you do it well. It's the old Field of Dreams thing. You build it, they will come. It just plain works. And then I get paid. I think I told you about the dinner and the movie. Pays my mortgage. If you're really resourceful, you go to my website, go to my contact me page, find out where I live, put it in Zillow, and then you'll know how much my mortgage is. Yeah, it's our don't you dare go there. What?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's really awesome that you get to go watch movies and stuff, but how do you get paid? I don't know.
The website. Okay, it's pretty simple. How do you make there's different ways to make money online, all right? But here's one. If enough people come across your website, sooner or later somebody's going to, can I put an advertisement up there? That's why they call it the information highway.
Right, but how would you find,
They find me.
So who finds you?
The advertisers. They search out, they know who's getting traffic, who's not. And so, they say, I got this product, would you put this on your website? Well, how much are you going to give me to put it up there? And then they got different companies that do that. Google does it. That's what Google AdSense does. It's called an ad server. Ad servers, if you have enough content, you don't have enough content, that doesn't work. Because the ad server machine cannot, what's this website about? I don't know what it's about. I don't know what kind of advertisement. You write about a product, you write about it enough, sooner or later, that Google AdSense can figure out, oh, this is what this site's about. Let me put this advertisement up and you start making money off of it.
How many followers do you need to have to get that?
Okay, you got too many questions. I know the answer to that question, but it's beyond the scope here, right? So I'm a writer and I get paid to do it. You can do this. It's back in your hands, all right? So problem is if you can't find an agent, if you're a writer and you can't find an agent, you're just plain lazy. You're just plain lazy. I mean, agents, what's an agent's job? Find writers. There are agents out there wazoo looking for people who write books. And if you cannot find them, something's wrong with that picture. If you can't find an agent, you're lazy. If you can't get your book published, you're plain lazy. You're just lazy. I mean, people want people who are good. So you're either lazy or you're no good. All right, so can't find can't find clients, can't find leads, can't get credibility, a blog brings them to you. All right, then we got, you get control, can't get a speaking gig, a traffic blog brings them in. Can't make a living writing, nonsense, think again. All right, so I said all that so I can say this. The 4 obstacles to getting started. Obstacle number 1 to getting started. What's my name going to be? You know, this is the honest to goodness truth. I am a Christian. I said that before. I'm in a church. I have sat in a room for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever, and I was paid anywhere from $200 to $500 an hour. This is the truth. We'll go with the low number, $200 an hour, and I sat there for an hour and a half or whatever, and they were saying, what should I name my blog? And I'm thinking, what? That's like, what should I name my kids? You know, serious people, oh, what should I name? Well, everybody thought there's got to be the perfect name. All the perfect names are taken. Choose something else, right? So I've solved that problem. Choose something people can spell. It's pretty much that simple. I'm American, so I can say this. If you're not American, I get mad. I feel sad. Americans are stupid. If they were not born between 1954 and 1959, most of them can't spell. I'm serious, 54 to 59, can't spell. Because if you were born up to 1953, most Americans learned how to spell by memorization. So they just threw a bunch of words, you just had to memorize how they were spelled. In 1954, they started teaching phonics. And we learned how to spell phonetically. I can spell words, I can, you know, that I've never heard before, I've never seen before, just because I can hear it and sound it out. And I can read words I've never seen before, but, you know, I can just do that. In 1960, man, that's a lot of work. So they started teaching memorization again. My brother was born in 53, he can't spell to save his soul. My sister's born in 60, she can't spell to save her soul. I was born in between there and I can spell. Choose something that people can spell. It's, you know, I was going to say this before, what should I name my blog? The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter what you call it. It does not matter. There are some of the, I got some of the stupidest names you ever heard of for a blog. Pan-Asian Biz, Wispid. You know, I made up that word. It's the wisdom you gain from the stupid things that people do around you. Wisdom gained from stupid things people do. And that's where I built that, and that's how I wrote the book. See, it doesn't matter what the name of your blog is. What matters is that you have something that people can spell, because you're going to hand it to them and say, come to my website here. Use your own name if you have to. Just use your own name. I own BillBelew.com. And it is not because I'm vain. It's not because I'm conceited. It's because that's who I am. You know, why wouldn't I use my name? If your name has been taken, try a middle initial, try a prefix, try a suffix, you know, try a nickname that goes along with it. Choose something, because it doesn't matter what you call your blog. It doesn't matter. It plain doesn't matter. Now, if you can get Toyota.com, get it. Yeah, but you're not going to get it. I met a woman who had vanilla. She bought vanilla back in 1987 or whenever they first came out. You know, they're like vanilla extract, vanilla. She can't get traffic to it. And what? Give that to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. You know, I do something with that. It's like, anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, so something people can spell, try your own name. And in the worst case, you can always change it. My son had Mephisto Ape. He's a concert pianist, right? He's Mephisto Ape. And he got pretty good. And people saying, do you have a website? Yeah, I do. Where is it? Mephisto Ape, huh? It's Mephisto Ape. M-A, no, it's M-E, M-E-F, no, it's M-E-P-H, what? And they couldn't spell it. So he went out and bought Benjamin Belew. And then you type in Benjamin Belew and it redirects to Mephisto Ape, and nobody knows the difference. All right, so choose something, choose anything, for crying out loud, get something so that you can get up there and get started. There are 4 basic principles to good traffic online. All right, the first one's quantity. I talked about that before. Just do more than the next guy. Find out what topic this guy, find out who your biggest competitor is, and write more pages than they have, and you'll beat them. And then the second one's quality. Just do it better than they have. You write better search engine optimized posts than they do, and you'll beat them. The third one is consistency. Just update your website more often than the next guy, and you'll beat him. You know, if he updates his website once a month or once a week, you do yours twice a month or twice a week, and you'll eventually outrank him just because you update it more consistently. And the last one is called longevity. Longevity. You have to bide your time online. I see The longer your website exists online, the more credibility you have in the search engines, just because you've been around for a long time. Well, isn't that interesting? Now, so I got quantity, I got quality, I got consistency, I got longevity. Quantity, I can always do more. I just do more. I just ask Mandeep for money and I just do more. What's the big deal? Quality, I can always do better. I can add this there, I can change this, tweak this, I can put this header there, I can do that. I can always do better. Consistency, I can always do it more often. I just wake up more often. I use my scheduler and just make them go out more often. Longevity, there's nothing I can do to control that. I just plain cannot control it. I have to earn my time. In order to earn your time, you got to do what? Got to get online first. For crying out loud, buy something and buy it today. Get online, go home and just write, hello world, here I am. I'll be back in a month. Because you cannot beat getting started. Nothing will ever beat getting started. It costs like $10 for a domain name, and then it costs $4 a month for hosting for a year. So 4 times 48 plus 10, 60, 58 plus tax, $70, and you got your own space online. So that's where we go next. Obstacle number 2 is, where do I get good, reliable, cheap hosting? And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got at least half of this, more than half of this room are shoppers. Elaine, you a shopper? Yes. Yeah, I know you. Yeah, of course. More than half this room is shoppers. And so everybody gets frozen. Oh, there's got to be someplace better. There's got to be someplace more reliable. There's got to be someplace cheaper for me to buy this domain name. There's got to be a cheaper hosting somewhere, right? Oh, I had to do free. Do not do free hosting, and there's a real good reason for that. Buy your own space online. Do you all know what the difference between having a domain name and having hosting is? I say domain name is similar to having an address. Like I live at wherever I live at. It's just an address. There's nothing behind. There's nothing there. It's just a number. That's what a domain name is. A host is what exists inside or behind that domain name. And so you have to buy space on somebody's computer somewhere and let them keep your stuff. They will host it for you. They're the host. Please come live here. And you think, well, I have a computer. Why don't I just put everything on my own computer? Doesn't work that way because your computer is not connected to the internet 24/7. And you don't want that to be. So you pay $5 a month or $4 a month for somebody in Arizona to, to protect those computers and stick stuff in there and watch it for you. And then you buy a domain name. So everybody wants to know, where's the best, reliable, and the cheapest place to do it? Well, I solved that problem for you. Here it is. It's BM2 Hosting. Now, I'll get full disclosure here. I own BM2 Hosting. Now, yeah, Claire, you can laugh at me. That's okay. You see, what I did was I went to the largest domain seller in the world. They've sold 53 million domain names. They're the largest hosting company in the world to host those 53 million domain names, and they offer reselling accounts. And so I paid out of my own pocket whatever it cost for me to resell that stuff at the absolute cheapest price that they will allow me to sell it. And so I don't make any money. You go here, you buy a domain name, you buy hosting here, I will make 17 cents or something like that. And the reason I did that is because I did not want my students to be frozen with shopping. Oh, there's got to be someplace better. There's got to be someplace cheaper. No, there's not. This is it. Just give it up. Don't go looking anymore. Just buy it here. Now, you'll find some other places that offer cheaper, and what they're doing is they're subsidizing it. Somebody else is paying for it. That's why they can sell it to you for $2 or whatever. And I absolutely guarantee you they'll get it back sooner or later because nobody's in the business to lose money here. All right, so do it. This is where you want to go. What? You got questions again?
I have a question.
Oh, it's fine.
If I use I have a portfolio through a writer's residence, that's it's not a domain name?
No.
So this would be a domain name I would own. It would
Yes.
be to hosting.
Yep. No, it's going to be claire.com.
Not my last name.
Or whatever.
Hard to spell.
See, it's going to be you, whatever it is, .com. It's your space on the internet. So if you can't put out $70 a year to own your space on the internet, I'm not doing business with you. It's like letting me set up my lemonade stand in your front yard. No, we don't do that. You don't go to a free site and expect to do business there. Nobody takes them serious. All right? And so the only people making money off of free sites is whoever owns that free site. All right, so spring the $70 and get your own online presence there. So what's in a host? So there's no more cheap. You can't get it any more cheaper than that. Give it up. 24/7 support. You call them up. No, I do not answer the phone 24/7. No, I ain't doing that. You call them up. Somebody in a big room. will answer the phone and say, hello, can I help you? And the little boys and girls will stay on the phone until all your problems are solved. I did it. They're so sweet. I did it just for fun. I kept this little girl on there for about 2 hours. Seriously, it was a Saturday, so I didn't have to worry about minutes on my phone. And I talked to her for 2 hours while I did some work, and just to see how many questions she had. She just never got tired. Well, that company flew me down there. Not because of that. That company flew me to Arizona, took me into their call center and showed me how that works. Anytime somebody's been on the line for more than 27 minutes or something like that, they start bringing in outside help because they want to make sure. They're just really good. All right? You can't beat it. BM2 Hosting is backed by the largest domain and reseller in the world. They got a solid reputation. Right? Number 3 obstacle to getting started. What's the best template? What's the best template? In other words, what should my blog look like? Should it be green or yellow? Should it have 2 columns? Should I use flowers? Should I, And I know the answer to that question too. What's the best look for your blog? The answer is, who cares? Nobody's coming anyway. I am as serious as I possibly can be. I have seen so many people freeze here. They just got to get it looking perfectly before they'll even make it public. We've already talked about the longevity factor. Nothing, just get the default template for crying out loud and hit publish and put something up there. And then the very best thing that could happen to you is somebody's going to say, man, your website's ugly. Because then somebody really read it and they gave you some real feedback and you don't even know who they are, so we don't care anyway, and then we'll go fix it. Right? So the template. So we got choices. We got the freebie stuff. Don't go there. We got Blogger. We got WordPress. We got Typepad. We got Homemade. Which one do you think I would recommend? What? Earth Declare. WordPress. It's going to be WordPress.
Yeah, that's very similar to the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That you paid for. That's exactly.
And that's WordPress. No, that's different. So I had somebody come to one of my classes here, and they said, "Oh, Bill, guess what? I got me a new website. Oh, I paid somebody to create this website for me. How much did you pay? I paid $1,500. I said, what? You think I don't have feelings? They said, give me $1,500. I'd have hired somebody to do it for $100. I'd have made $1,400. You do not need to spend $1,500 creating a homemade website. You just don't need it. Now, if your website's making, a couple $100,000 a month or $10,000 a month, go ahead and spring for something, but you don't need that. The largest search engine in the world is what? Baidu. That's right. The second largest is Baidu. That's Chinese. Is Google, right? And so Google's chief of spam prevention, the guy who knows. Claire, if you ask me another question, I'm not going to answer because you're not paying attention. No, so she's going to ask me a question of something that I've already talked about because she went.
WordPress.org is different than WordPress.com.
Yeah, well, we're not going to go there. Go to BM2 Hosting and buy your own place online. Because otherwise, you're going to run into trouble later on because you're going to try and move it. It's a hassle to move it. I've done it so many times. I ain't going to do it for you anymore. I don't do it. People say, can you move this for me? No.
So again, WordPress is your tool of choice.
Right, and so I was telling you, the guy who's in charge of all of Google's search engine optimization and everything that Google knows about search engines, he has Blogger, all of Blogger resources at his disposal says, use WordPress. His site is on WordPress. Well, that means something to me. He says WordPress is out of the box, ready for search engine optimization. Well, okay, why would I want to go look for somewhere else? Use WordPress. WordPress has more flexibility. It can do more things than you possibly think you want to do. Sometimes that's a problem. It has options out the wazoo. I don't know how many times Jerry, he'd get online there and I created him a website. He said, wow, I got this website. I got blogs. I can do stuff. And he gets in the back and, wow, look, I can put this plug in here and I can use that widget over there. And if I push this button, it'll turn this color. And he called me up. He said, Bill, I spent about 3 hours blogging today. I said, what'd you do, Jerry? He said, well, I moved the widget here, and I put the plug-in over there, and I changed the theme to this color, and I got this columns there. And I said, Jerry, did you blog today? He said, yeah, I did 3 hours. I said, no. That's not blogging. That's called fiddling. Fiddling is when you're messing around with the back end. Blogging is when you hit publish. If you're not hitting publish, you're not blogging. All right, so choose the default template, write stuff, and hit publish. People will start coming in. There's lots of options there. You don't need to do it in the beginning. Just use the default. It's easy to use. It's just plain easy to use, and there's help out the wazoo. There's a whole industry built around, right? There's a whole industry built around people saying, I can help you with your WordPress blog. I mean, it's way cool. WordPress open source. They were built by these people up in San Francisco. And they created an industry. They created a job industry all over the world where people will come and help you. Don't know where to start? Call me. I'll do it for you. Or I'll find somebody to do it for you. Give me $100, I'll hire somebody $50 to do it. So, and then number 4, what do I write about? What do I write about? Oh, how many times I get, you know, what they're really asking me, what people are really asking me, say, what do I write about on my blog? They want to know what are the best paying topics to write about. That's like saying, where can I go to work for some company that I don't really like, but I can make enough money at it to be miserable? That's exactly what they're asking. Why would you want to write about something that you don't care about just because you can make more money at it? Yeah, okay, well, so that's what they're asking me. Well, here's my answer to the question. Write about something you're interested in. Write about what you are interested in, and then write about stuff that you can create an interest in. I've written something so many times that people say, oh my goodness, I better go see what Bill's writing about. I've read about it so much, I better go see. You write about something 12,000 times, sooner or later somebody's going to notice. It doesn't have to be 12,000, it might be just 500. You write until you get noticed in your niche. You know, I tell people this all the time. There's 100,000 left-handed quilters in America. 100,000 left, I can't even do it right-handed. Okay, so we write until there's 100,000 people know me and I own that. Write about stuff you can create an interest. So what I'm trying to do is put the control back in your hands, not in somebody else's hands. Write about things that are timeless. And this is 4 of those, 5 steps to do this, 6 reasons why I would go there. This is the kind of stuff that people always want to know about. The timeless stuff. I have a series that I wrote on a bunch of countries in Asia, 21 must-know facts about India, 16 must-know facts about the Gaza Strip, 10 obscure facts about the Great Wall of China or something like that. And I wrote those like years ago, and I still get hundreds of readers a day coming to that. Those are timeless, stuff that people always want to know. And then you want to write about stuff that is what? It's timely. What does your niche topic have to do with what's going on in the world today? Now, I don't care what Britney Spears does. I write about Asia. Britney Spears did something stupid. Well, Britney Spears did that in Asia. You see, I can make the connection to what's going on in the real world with what it is I write about. You write about timeless things and timely things, you'll get readers. Write about stuff you have a lot to say about. I tell people, you need to write about something you have 1,000 things to say about. Now, I mean 1,000. I'm not exaggerating 1,000. This depends on what size is the demographic that you're trying to capture. If there, Kevin writes about the remodeling. If there's only 500 people that are going to remodel their houses in the Sunnyvale South Bay area, that's all you need to get. Well, see, I'm trying to reach the whole world. So if I only wrote 500 articles, I would never reach the world. I just couldn't do it. So how much you have to say depends on how big is the audience that you're trying to reach. Who are you competing with? But I tell people, you need to have something you have 1,000 things to say about. If you don't have 1,000 things to say about it, you're not going to make any money at it. Give it up. Just plain give it up. It won't work. And then obstacle number 5 is just plain too much work. Man, that sounds like a lot of work to me. Write 1,000 articles times 2, 3, 4, 500 words per article. Man, I'd never get done. Well, I've solved that problem too. Write me a check and I'll do it for you. I will. I've got teams, right, Kevin? We've got teams of people who will write high quality stuff. How high is the quality? How much money you have? We got tiers. Now, I got overseas writers with overseas editors. I got overseas writers with American editors. I got American writers with overseas editors, and I got American writers with American editors. And so it just depends, how deep is your pocket, kind of. But we can build it for you. And then we get back to who can you trust, right? It's got to be somebody who knows what they've done. It's got to be somebody who's been there and done it. What was it Zuckerberg said in the Facebook movie? You can't make 500 million friends without making a few enemies, right? That's a very powerful line. I thought, well, you can't get 95 million page views without doing some things wrong. And so I've totally learned what doesn't work too. I mean, I not only know all the things that work, I know what doesn't work. I've been on both ends there. So, I'm glad to share those things. So the obstacles, name's done, hosting's done, template's done, the content's done. It's too hard. I took care of that too. Here, get email. All right, thank you for the workshop. 10 years ago, started me on a journey, posted a blog, well-known writer, became friends, met him in New York, being interviewed on national radio next week. Blogs taking me to conferences, World's Alzheimer's Disease in London. Can't thank you enough for showing the power of blogs. You see, it just plain works.